A slashed window screen in the small college town of Minot, North Dakota, there was pretty much the only clue to a murder that made no sense. Behind a locked bedroom door, 18-year-old Anita Knutson was dead. For years, police chased a ghost, an intruder who could seemingly walk through walls. But the truth was far more chilling. The key to solving this impossible crime wasn't a phantom. It was someone who had been there the whole time, hiding in plain sight. Back in June of 2007, 18-year-old Anita Knutson's future looked bright. She was studying to be a teacher at Minot State University, working 2 jobs to pay the bills, and was always talking to her family. Her dad, Gordon, had even put a new lock on her bedroom door just for a little extra privacy in the off-campus apartment she shared. But on June 4th, everything changed. When Anita didn't show up for work or answer her phone, her father got worried and drove over to check on her. Her car was in the parking lot, but the apartment was locked and silent. After the property manager let him in, he discovered a horrific scene. Anita was in her bed, stabbed to death. For police, the scene was a total contradiction. A slashed window screen lay on the ground outside, which seemed to point to a break-in, yet Anita's bedroom door was locked from the inside, and there was no sign of forced entry into the apartment itself. It was a classic locked room mystery. How does a killer get in, commit such a brutal act, and then just vanish from a second room? Investigators were stumped. Only a few people had keys to the apartment: the property manager Anita and her 19-year-old roommate Nicole Rice. When police finally told Nicole what happened, her reaction was strange. According to a coworker, she seemed rushed and less social than usual, and alleged called Anita a crackhead before refusing to go back to the apartment. Nicole gave police an alibi. She said she was at her parents' farm all weekend. But there were holes in her story, inconsistencies that would only grow more significant over time. Despite their suspicions, police had a huge problem. No physical evidence. DNA found on the suspected murder weapon didn't belong to Nicole. It belonged to an unidentified man. Without a forensic link or a confession, the investigation stalled. Years began to pass. Anita's family pleaded for answers, but the case went cold, leaving the community haunted by the specter of a phantom killer. For 15 long years, it seemed Anita's murder would remain an impossible, unsolved crime. The search for the truth in a case like Anita's can hinge on one tiny detail that everyone missed. If you find these kinds of puzzles as fascinating as I do, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into solved and unsolved mystery. The case may have been cold, but it was never forgotten. In 2019, the Minot Police Department, with help from the TV series Cold Justice, decided to give the file a fresh look. This time, investigators shifted their focus away from the phantom intruder and zeroed in on the one person who was there from the start, Nicole Rice. The breakthrough didn't come from a lab, it came from words. Detectives scrutinized the shifting alibis Nicole had given back in 2007. Even more chillingly, new witnesses came forward with stories of alleged drunken confessions. An ex-boyfriend claimed that years after the murder, a drunk Nicole had admitted to him, "I did it." Another friend told police that Nicole confessed to stabbing Anita after they argued over an alarm clock. This was the aha moment investigators had been seeking for over a decade. The slash screen, once seen as the entry point for an intruder, was now recontextualized as a possible diversion, a stage clue to throw police off the real trail. In March of 2022, 15 years after Anita Knutson's death, police arrested Nicole Rice and charged her with murder.
I don't know. She doesn't know who I am, but if you just tell her that somebody's here to see her. Nicole?
Yeah.
Yep, what's from police department? We have an arrest warrant for your arrest for murder.
Okay, can I call my lawyer?
Nope. All right, now you certainly will have an opportunity to. But right now, we're placing you under arrest. Can I have you stand up? Stand up.
Where is it?
Place your hands behind your back, please.
Okay.
Those right there, yeah.
He's in here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you need from here?
Anything else you need right now?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Have you follow this officer?
They need to call my boss. Before I call anybody.
You need me to call anybody? No?
She'll get some calls.
Okay.
All right.
We're about out here to the right. It's kind of a tight fit, but
Okay, so I know, like I said, I wasn't here when all of this happened, so it's all kind of new to me. And we know it's been a really long time, so we're trying to just look at it again from the beginning. And it's me and Detective Talbot and Steve here.
How you doing?
And none of us were involved from the beginning, so it's all brand new to us. And so we're just kind of going back and trying to talk to everybody, absolutely everybody again that was talked to the first time, and just learn everything about this case that we can and figure out any little details that may have been overlooked or something. Okay? So I guess, what have you been up to the last? Had us working from home for a while too because of COVID, and it was so hard. So hard.
Do I wear pajamas?
Yeah, right. It's just not right. I couldn't be that kind of person that had an all the time work from home job. At
Yeah,
all.
I couldn't do that. No.
Mm-mm.
I need to go into the office to get me out of a funk. I don't like being cooped up in my house.
Yeah,
So,
that's for sure. Okay, so let's kind of get to the meat. You went to school in Belva. That's where you grew up, right? And Anita went to school there.
Yep.
She moved there, what, about middle school?
freshman year.
Okay,
Well, no. 8th grade year.
okay. And then tell me a little bit about that. How did you guys meet and how was school like?
So, you know how 8th graders are when new kids come to school, kind of like make them an outsider. I was having a birthday party that weekend, so I invited her so she could get to know like all the other girls in this class. She ended up staying the night. We had a really good time. I brought her home the next morning. I had my license young, so we're living on a farm. So I
Yeah.
brought her home, and then we just kind of hung out. I'm like, Velva kind of was cliquey, so like once you found your groove, you just kind of went that way. And we didn't hang out a lot in high school anymore after like 9th, 10th grade. I mean, we did not like each other, but we had different friends.
Well, I mean, it's
So-
a small school, small town. I mean, everybody knows everybody, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I know what that's like. So.
Yeah. So then we both went to the same college. Neither of our roommates ended up working out. So then we ended up roommates in the dorms.
Oh.
So we were in the dorms together, and then we decided that we were going to move into an apartment together. So, and then at that point, like we're in the dorms and stuff, we were like inseparable. We were together all the time. Then we moved out to the apartment. I quit college because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I didn't want to pay for college and not know what I was doing. So I just got a job, and then my job schedule and her school and work schedule, it just clashed because I worked either 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. or 1 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Oh.
or 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. So like I was coming when she was going when I was coming. And honestly, like we didn't really drift, but we didn't talk much. I worked and I was busy, and I regret now, like looking back, like I wish we would have communicated more because maybe I would have more answers, but I don't. I didn't talk. And once I get in like my own groove and I'm busy, I've learned now that I reach out to people a lot more often because I have really bad anxiety about all this.
Okay.
I'm so scared to lose people close to me. And like I don't hold grudges. This has flipped my life upside down. I'm not the same person I used to be. So looking back, I wish I would have talked to her more, knew who she was hanging out with, but I never asked questions. I just, at that age, you're just doing your own thing. You're trying to find yourself.
You guys were in the dorm. Was it like in Cook Hall?
Uh,
I think that was the
Oh,
freshman dorm.
yeah, the freshman dorm, yeah. The one right on the corner.
Okay. Yeah. And then when did you move out of there and get the apartment?
Oh my gosh. I know we moved in the winter because it was cold. January. I want to say it was January. All I remember is really cold.
So like in the middle of the school year.
Yeah.
And then how was that arrangement set up? Like, did you just split the rent down the middle? And then how about utilities? How was that working out?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. I know we split the rent down the middle, and then I think we split utilities too. Like we just, I don't. Oh, that's hard. I don't even honestly remember. But I thought we split utilities, or she paid one thing
I don't
and I
know
paid
what
the other. I don't
It's
even
included.
honestly
Maybe
remember.
sometimes some of those things are included in your rent too, so it's hard
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah, I don't remember. Too long to remember.
I know it's been a long time. So kind of fill me in a little bit on Anita's personality. What kind of personality
fun.
was she?
She's fun. She's bubbly. She's outgoing. She talked to anybody. She's super sweet. I think some guys maybe took it too far. That she was so kind that they thought she was flirting. But if that was the case, then she'd be flirting with all the girls too, because that's just her personality. She's smiley, happy, bubbly. She just liked to have fun. So she was not home much. She had a lot of friends, and she went and did a lot of things. So
Do you know what kind of stuff she was like to do?
yeah, she just once you got into college, she really liked to party with her friends. I didn't really like some of the friends that she hung out with, so I didn't. I partied with them a few times, and I was like, no. I was so busy working that I didn't have time. If I partied, I wouldn't go to work the next day, and that was that's how I survived. I had to work, so she liked to dance. She loved to dance. So she would go down to I don't remember what it is called now, but it's like, I think it was the Chicago Club at the time.
Okay.
So she was down there like every weekend. So she really loved to dance.
You not so much?
Not a dancer. No. I grew up on a farm.
Me
and
neither.
I don't dance. I'm about as stiff as a board. So.
That's all right. So do you remember who any of her friends were back then?
I don't know what her last name is now, but she hung out with, I think it's,
Okay.
I don't remember what her name is. I think she's been married 3 times. They hung out a lot. And then just like that group of friends. That's the only friends like I really knew she was hanging out with. She hung out with which I did not like him. I had bad feelings about him from the get-go. And I had actually told her at one point, I said, he doesn't get to be here when I'm here. I don't like him. He gives me bad vibes. And she's like, okay. So he would go there when I wasn't there. And like, as soon as this happened, it was the first person that popped into my brain. Because there was one weekend, I know that she had texted me, she's like, I drank your beer that was in the fridge. I'm like, okay, I don't drink it, so you can have it. She's like, I'll pay you back. I'm like, don't worry about it. And I'd come home and she had like bruises like all over, and she said that she'd fell into her dresser because they drank too much. I didn't believe it for 1 second, just because he wanted more, but she didn't, because his ex-girlfriend was like crazy and was like following her to work and doing all this weird stuff. And so she just told me to be friends, and that's the last I knew about it. So I don't know if she was still hanging out with him. But like I said, I think it was probably a month like that we even really talked very much.
So were they dating or just
I don't-
kind of hanging out?
I don't know what they were doing.
And the friends like Michelle and anybody else she was hanging out with, were these friends from high school or were these new friends she
Just
had
new
met?
friends.
Okay.
Like new friends she had met in Minot when we came here. So I don't know if she met college or how that.
Did she stay friends or with anybody from high school, or did you stay friends with anybody from high school?
Yeah, we all had been really close still through college and stuff. And then after she had passed away, I still was kind of close to them, and then they just kind of drifted, and none of them will talk to me anymore.
Why is that? Do you
I
know?
don't know. Makes me
Sad.
I don't know if she was still hanging out with him. But like I said, I think it was probably a month like that we even really talked very much.
So were they dating or just
I don't-
kind of hanging out?
I don't know what they were doing.
And the friends like Michelle and anybody else she was hanging out with, were these friends from high school or were these new friends she
Just
had
new
met?
friends.
Okay.
Like new friends she had met in Minot when we came here. So I don't know if she met college or how that.
Did she stay friends or with anybody from high school, or did you stay friends with anybody from high school?
Yeah, we all had been really close still through college and stuff. And then after she had passed away, I still was kind of close to them, and then they just kind of drifted, and none of them will talk to me anymore.
Why is that? Do you
I
know?
don't know. Makes me
Sad. So tell me a little bit about like your living dynamic. I know you said you worked a lot. Like, how many hours a week were you working?
I was working 40 hours a week. I was full time. So
And then she was also working.
yeah, she was working part time at Vanity.
Okay.
I had got her job at Vanity because that's where I had worked previously, and then I got offered. I looked for a job where I wasn't spending all my money on clothes.
Did you get a discount at least?
Yeah, but that was the problem.
Okay.
They just take you buy clothes and it comes out of your paycheck,
Oh.
and then you get your paycheck and you're like,
Oh,
that's
no.
$40. Like, how am I paying my rent?
Oh no.
It was like I just needed something else, so I needed a big girl job. I wasn't going to be going to college, and my dad strictly told me, "You will get a full-time job and you will work." He's tough love. He's very strict.
Well, so was he? Was he paying for college? Like when
Yeah.
you were going? Okay, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. So if
Yeah.
you're not going to go to college.
Yeah,
you
I'm like,
get
if
it
I
out.
don't know what I'm doing, if you're not, you're gonna get a job. I'm not gonna help you pay your rent. I'm not gonna pay your car insurance. I'm not paying your cell phone. You know, you're gonna be a big girl and do it yourself. So,
All right. Welcome to the real world, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I
do-
thank him for that.
Well, you know, yeah. I mean, you have all these coddled kids these days that it's probably better, right? You're probably better for a person for it in the long run.
I like to say so. Yeah.
Do you remember when you quit working at Vanity and started? Where was it?
It's e-telecare.
E-telecare. That's where you're working. Okay.
I do not remember when I quit. I probably did 13 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even when I put it on like your resume, I'm like, I don't even know
Right.
when I.
It's hard. You have to
even
keep
know.
track, right?
It was sometime after we moved because I think I had already gotten a job there before we moved into that apartment.
Oh, okay.
So I was pre-planning, you know.
Right.
So,
So what was her work schedule like? She was only part-time at Vanity, right?
yeah, and then she worked at the Fairfield Inn too.
Okay.
But I don't know, like she didn't work there like all the time, and then she didn't work Vanity all the time, depending on her class schedules. And I don't know what her schedule was at the time. So she would basically school, work, party, come home super late. Like I remember coming home 3, 4 in the morning sometimes, going to bed, sleeping, getting up, going to school, coming back, changing, going wherever else she was going. So like I said, like most of the time I was sleeping, well, trying to sleep. So we didn't talk much.
And so how did that make the living arrangements? Was there any problems between the two of you?
The only problem we really had, and I know there's so many stories. There's so many stories. Like her mom's like, "Oh, well, you guys." She said she was scared. She never was honestly scared. She would text me actually when we would go places. She's like, "I need my wingman," and stuff. Like, I don't know where her mom got the fact that we were like actually got physical, because that never happened. And I never slammed her foot in a door, so I don't know where all that's coming from. But we had a disagreement about an alarm clock one morning. That was I was home. Obviously, I got home at like 1:30, and then I wind down to go to sleep. Well, her alarm clock was going off at 5 a.m. Our rooms were our own rooms. We locked them when we were gone, or we didn't. That was our space. Like, you know, I don't know. But so the alarm clock was going off at 5 a.m. and I'm trying to sleep because so I texted her and I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna smash your door down because your alarm clock's going off." But I mean, to me, I would say that to anybody. I'm tired. I'm trying to sleep. Why is your alarm clock going off? So it went off for like an hour, and I was like, "Dude, next time you need to make sure you shut your alarm clock off because like that's respectful."
Right.
You know. So that's like the biggest confrontation we had, and we had to really resolve that issue. You know, we had talked about it. We weren't mad at each other. Like typical roommate stuff. You with someone all the time. You know. So
So she would lock her bedroom when she wasn't there?
Yeah.
Would she lock it when she was there as well? Okay.
No, just when I would do the same thing. Like if I wasn't there or whatever, I would lock it. Sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't. I don't know. Sometimes I forget. I don't care. But we had that agreement like that. My room's my room. Your room's your room. I don't go in your room. You don't go in mine. So I don't know. It was a personal space thing.
Did you guys spend much time in the common spaces, like the living room, kitchen together? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. I always told her she'd always. I don't know if it was like a California thing, but she'd be like walking around in her bra and underwear and the window's wide open and the lights are on. I'm like, what are you doing? And you know what? You guys, this is the worst thing. She said to me, well, it's not Cali. It's Minot. And you guys, it's like rings in my brain. Because I'm like, oh, God. It's not Cali. It's Minot. Like, really, what could happen in Minot? I'm like, oh.
Right.
Yeah. It just goes to my brain all the time.
Tell me about the incident with your fish tank.
Fish tank? Oh, one of my friends poured beer in it.
Oh.
And filled it with beer instead of water.
Okay.
I don't remember anything else about the fish tank.
That can't be good for fish.
No, it killed all the fish.
Because we had heard that Anita had unplugged your fish tank at one point and that killed your fish because she didn't like the noise. It made too much noise.
I don't know anything about that.
Mm.
No, I know all my fish died because my friend poured beer in the fish tank.
Good friend.
Yeah, I don't remember anything else about
So that
the fish
didn't
tank.
happen?
No.
Okay. So let's get down to that weekend as much as you can remember. So let's start Friday. Because you, I think, worked Friday?
I did work Friday, and then I went out back to my parents' farm.
Okay. You went to your parents' farm that Friday night? Or?
I think I went Saturday morning, actually, because my cousin was leaving for like basic training or Iraq or something. I can't even remember what it was, but we were having a party for him in Sykeston. So I think I left that Saturday morning because I worked late Friday and then went to sleep and then woke up Saturday morning and left. Honestly, though, I can't 100% remember if I left Saturday morning or Friday night.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was.
And do you remember if Anita was home Friday night when you were there?
I don't remember. I do not remember. I'm sure I did at the time, probably.
What about Saturday? If it was Saturday that you left, was she there in the morning when you left? Or did you see her vehicle parked in the parking lot? Or?
I don't remember that either. I don't remember.
Okay. And then did you go straight from here to Sykeston to the party, or did you go somewhere else?
Yeah. I think I picked up my cousin. She rode with me. My cousin.
Where did she live?
Where was she living at the time? I think she was living somewhere in town. She's like
In
5 years.
Minot?
Yeah, she's
Oh.
like 5 years older than me.
Okay.
So I believe I picked her up, and then we rode down there together, and then because then I came back and she owned a bar in Russo. Her and her husband did, and we came back and stayed there, and I helped her serve like food.
So after the party in Sykeston, you went to Russo, the bar.
Yeah, which is just like 5 miles south of my parents' farm.
Okay.
So,
Do you remember about what time of day that was?
oh
you went
gosh,
there?
I think we came back from the party like 5 or 6, and then we went and I stayed at Russo till probably 11 or 12
Okay.
serving. So I would help her when I was out there because it was something to do. I always like to be busy. So.
Yeah. And then so after did you stay to like bar close or?
Pretty close.
And then what did you do then?
Went back to my parents' house and went to bed on the couch.
Was that normal for you to sleep on the couch?
Yeah.
At your parents' place?
Yeah. So my parents they have a small double wide trailer.
Oh, okay.
And my sister was still young at the time, so that's where I slept. My dad, as soon as I went to college, my dad turned my room into his office because that's what it was supposed to be when they ordered the house. And then my mom found out she was pregnant, so then he didn't have an office anymore. So
your sister got the bedroom and you get the couch.
I always slept on the couch. Even after I got pregnant and I moved back in with my parents, I still slept on the couch.
Okay.
So actually, I bought an air mattress and I slept on their floor in the air mattress. But yes, there's a small house.
Space is limited.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So you got back to the farm about what time?
I would say it was probably midnight, 11:30, midnight, somewhere around there.
Okay. And then you just slept on the couch. Do you remember what time you got up on Sunday?
Nope. I know I had to go. Was it Sunday? I had to do something with my car insurance, or was that Saturday morning? Oh my gosh, this is so hard. I know that weekend I was doing something with my car insurance with my dad. We had gone into Velva. I don't think it was Sunday though, because I don't think she was open Sunday. I don't remember what day it was. Oh, Sunday we shot gophers. We were out shooting gophers
On the farm.
And like the whole pasture is plastered with them. So, yep, that's what we did on Sunday. I don't remember what time I got up though. Usually, so when I sleep on the couch, my dad's up at 5 a.m. So I probably just laid there, probably was awake, but he's up at 5 a.m. all the time, making breakfast, being noisy, watching TV.
He's a rancher, right? So that's that's what he does.
Yep. So,
Would you normally, like, thinking back to then when you were like, what, 19, 20 years old, would it have been usual for you to sleep in to like 10, 11? Or were you kind of, since you're a farm girl, were you always I'm get up at 7 a.m. and help with chores girl? Or
well, Dad didn't make us do that, but if we were sleeping in past 9, it's time to get up. There's no reason to sleep. The half the world's awake is what he always tells us. I've done this already this morning. Okay. So he didn't really like sleeping. So he didn't care. But like when I was at the apartment and I worked, I would sleep till like probably 12. So I'd get up and
just get up and go to work
again. This is the same thing every single day. So yeah, at that time I did sleep in. But,
Yeah.
So
did you go home to the farm often?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost every single weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. I missed home. I don't like being in the city, and I don't even know why I moved here. I miss it so much. I miss being at the farm. But
So Sunday you got up at whatever time and then you went shot gophers. Did you spend the whole day at the farm or did you go
yeah,
anywhere
I stayed
else?
there again. I stayed that night again. And then I worked Monday, but I stayed there. Monday, I think, is when I had to do my car insurance. And then I went, because we got up, I went with my dad to Velva, we did my car insurance, and then I went straight to work because by that time it was all done. I needed to be at work at 1, so I didn't even stop at home. I just went straight to work. So I was gonna be late. So
Was that normal for you just to go straight to work from the farm? Or I mean,
Yeah, I had
pretty
no
much
reason-
would go right by your apartment
Yeah.
on the way to work.
yeah, I had no reason to stop though because I always made sure I packed. So it just was it'd be an extra stop for me, and I'm like very I don't know how to put it, but I hate extra trips. I think I learned that from my mom when I was younger, because when we'd come to Minot to go grocery shopping, it was one trip, get it done. We're not coming back up here. There's no extra stops there. It was like, so now it kind of trained me. I don't like to make extra stops. If I'm going somewhere, I'm going to get everything so I don't have to go back all week. So yeah, I always would usually go straight to work. There's no reason to stop at home. So
Okay. And you said sometimes your shift was at 1, right? You'd work in 1 in the afternoon.
it depended on like if we were short staffed, which we were most of the time.
So do you remember if that's the shift you worked that day?
I think I worked the 1-to-1 that day.
Okay.
I think so. So I know my lunch break. Oh God, when was my lunch break? I think I had to take an early lunch that day. I don't remember, but that's where I was at China Star when they called me and told me I needed to go to my apartment.
Oh, okay.
I was eating with a coworker.
I was just going to ask you when you take your lunch break, if you stayed at work and you had like a break room thing that you
We
ate
did.
at, or did you
Normally.
leave?
Normally that's where I'd go, but then sometimes we'd all be like, hey, you want to go here, you want to go here. So a coworker came, was like, let's go have Chinese. So we had time, we had an hour lunch,
Okay.
you know.
An hour for lunch.
So we went and did buffet, and that's where I was. And then she came back to my apartment with me, and she stayed with me. And then,
I don't
yeah, I don't
Do you remember her last name?
No, God, no, don't remember her last name.
Okay.
I see her once in a blue moon, but we weren't like super like close. We were just work people acquaintances, something to do, and
And you were with her at China Star when you got the phone call.
Mhm.
And do you remember who it was that called you?
well, my phone kept like ringing, and I don't answer phone calls, so I don't know who they are because I'm 9 times out of 10 like if you need me, you leave me a message, right? Because I get so much spam crap. But I didn't answer, and then my mom had called me, and she said that the cops were trying to get a hold of me and that I need to go to my apartment. If I didn't go to my apartment, they were going to come and get me at work. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I was completely blindsided. I had no idea what was going on. So we pulled up, and there was cops everywhere and tape. The first thing that went through my head was, like, oh my God, we've been robbed, right? Because it's Minot. Like, you don't think anything of anything. And then when they told me what had happened, I think I just went into like this trance. Like I felt like everything was just blurry, and I don't even remember if I cried. I think because I was just in so much shock. And then they talked to me about stuff, and I remember going and sitting in the car and them asking me if I knew anybody that like was mad at her or jealous of her, and I have a really bad coping mechanism. I'm very sarcastic. And I just said, well, if you're looking for somebody that's jealous of her, you might as well just get a phone book because she's gorgeous. And then they said, well, we don't need the sarcasm, but I've always been that way, like my whole life. So I knew that. I was like, okay, I can't do that. But I don't, as far as like everything the rest of that day, I feel like it's just all blurred. I don't remember much at all.
Do you remember what they told you?
They just had told me, they said that Anita was dead and that she had been murdered. But they didn't know what time yet, and they didn't know, all this other stuff. And I was just, like I said, I was just in shock because like, I grew up here. This is my home, and never heard of stuff like this, And I just sat there outside in the grass. My parents came up and sat with me. And they didn't tell me a lot that day. But when I went to get some clothes out of the apartment, they wouldn't let my mom come in. So it was just me. And they were like showing me things. And they said, is anything out of place? Do you notice anything weird? And they walked me by the bathroom, and I just remember like the smell in there and seeing the bathroom sink and her room, and I couldn't even get clothes. I was beyond myself. I think I came out with a snow boot and like a hoodie, and it's June. So I just I don't know, everything just, they didn't tell me anything though. They just said, does anything look out of place to you? And I said, my room looked fine. But was weird because I know I shut my door, but maybe they opened the door. I don't know. But the door was open in my room, and I'm super picky about like my room being clean before I leave. So nothing looked out of place in my room, but I couldn't even look in her room anymore.
Do you remember what day that was that you went back in to get the clothes?
Oh my gosh. It was just like 2 or 3 days later.
Okay.
Because I didn't have any clothes anymore. I was just, Mom had washed the ones I already had in my bag. But, yeah, I think it was a couple days, 2 or 3 days before I could go back in there.
And you mentioned something about when you were walking in, you saw the bathroom sink. Was there something specific about the bathroom
They just
sink?
pointed out the bathroom sink, and they said, what do you think this is? And to me, it looked like blood because it was brown and it was in the water, or in the sink in the water or something. I don't know. I just remember seeing the bathroom sink and her bedroom. And those are the two things that just burn into my brain. And like when I talk about it, I want to gag because I just, like when I talk about it, I remember what it smelled like in there. It's really hard, sorry.
What kind of smell was it?
It just smelled like, this is going to sound so horrible, but like when we have a dead cow out in the pasture and you can smell it from a ways away, it just smelled dead. And it wasn't it wasn't easy because I felt like I should have stayed home and I should have been there, and what if I would have been there, and all these things would go through my brain. Like, she always asked me to, be her bodyguard. And I just felt like I wasn't there for her when she actually needed me the most, and I was too busy doing my own thing. So I live with a lot of regret. Like I said, not talking to her much. So all of that was just piling through my brain. Then also kind of scared. Like, this was my home. What if what would have I done? Anything? Could I have done anything? Would I have been in the same situation? I don't know. But it's scary. So I have a lot of trust issues with people.
You said you saw her room that time when you went in to get your clothes. Was there anything that stood out to you that you saw about her room?
That's just, they told me, they're like, can you just look in here? Does anything look out of place where it shouldn't be? And I just remember seeing the mattress, and I think I just, blanked out. I couldn't look at anything else. I know her computer and everything was in the same spot that it's normally in. None of the furniture in the house was moved at all. So, but they're like, does anything look stolen? I'm like, I don't even know what was in here. We weren't in each other's rooms. So I don't know if anything was taken out of here or moved, or I knew that her computer was in the one corner and her bed was over this corner, and that was it.
So, but all the big things like the TVs and the appliances and stuff like that was all still there. So
Yeah.
It's not like somebody came in and robbed it.
No.
Okay. Do you remember about that apartment? There's only one door in and one door out, right? There's
Yeah.
no back door or anything like that.
No. Just the window in her room was like a longer, taller window.
Okay.
And we always had our windows open. It was hot. We didn't have AC. And her bedroom butted up against the laundry room.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that everybody used. So it was always hot because the dryer vents were always going. So it was always hot there. But she always had her window open. And I always had my window open. But I would close mine when I left usually.
Okay.
So, and mine was like a little, some apartments are so weird. My window was like tiny.
It was like
a little one.
that way, right?
Yeah. And
I remember it's been a while since I've been in those apartments, but I don't think much has changed there. So,
they're kind of
what about the door? So you go in the door, and there's a deadbolt on the door.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and is that the only way to lock the door?
I think you could lock it with the key in the doorknob and the deadbolt.
And the deadbolt, were they two separate keys or the same key?
They were the same key, which I don't know, that's kind of weird to me. But
Okay.
yeah, I think they
I've
were
seen
the same
doors
key.
like that before too.
Yeah, I think they were the same key.
Okay. And then was there like a screen door or a storm door or something on it as well? Or
No.
Just the storm,
Just
just
the door.
that door.
Just the door.
Did that door have a window or anything in it, or was it just solid door?
Just solid door. Like my whole life. So I knew that. I was like, okay, I can't do that. But I don't, as far as like everything the rest of that day, I feel like it's just all blurred. I don't remember much at all.
Do you remember what they told you?
They just had told me, they said that Anita was dead and that she had been murdered. But they didn't know what time yet, and they didn't know, all this other stuff. And I was just, like I said, I was just in shock because, I grew up here. This is my home, and never heard of stuff like this, And I just sat there outside in the grass. My parents came up and sat with me. And they didn't tell me a lot that day. But when I went to get some clothes out of the apartment, they wouldn't let my mom come in. So it was just me. And they were like showing me things. And they said, is anything out of place? Do you notice anything weird? And they walked me by the bathroom, and I just remember like the smell in there, and seeing the bathroom sink and her room, and I couldn't even get clothes. I was beyond myself. I think I came out with a snow boot and like a hoodie, and it's June. So I just I don't know, everything just, they didn't tell me anything though. They just said, does anything look out of place to you? And I said, my room looked fine. but was weird because I know I shut my door, but maybe they opened the door. I don't know, but the door was open in my room, and I'm super picky about like my room being clean before I leave. So nothing looked out of place in my room, but I honestly I couldn't even look in her room anymore.
Do you remember what day that was that you went back in to get the clothes?
Oh my gosh, I think it was just like 2 or 3 days later
Okay.
because I didn't have any clothes anymore. I was just mom had washed the ones I had already had in my bag, but yeah, I think it was a couple days, 2 or 3 days before I could go back in there.
And you mentioned something about when you're walking in, you saw the bathroom sink. Was there something specific about the
They
bathroom
just
sink?
pointed out the bathroom sink and they said, "What do you think this is?" And to me, it looked like blood because it was brown and it was in the water or in the sink in the water or something. I don't know. I just remember seeing the bathroom sink and her bedroom, and those are the two things that just burn into my brain. And like when I talk about it, I want to gag because I just like when I talk about it, I remember what it smelled like in there. It's really hard. Sorry.
What kind of smell was it?
It just smelled like this is gonna sound so horrible, but like when we have a dead cow out in the pasture and you can smell it from a ways away, it just smelled dead. And it wasn't easy because I felt like I should have stayed home and I should have been there, and what if I would have been there, and all these things would go through my brain. Like she always asked me to be her bodyguard, and I just felt like I wasn't there for her when she actually needed me the most, and I was too busy doing my own thing. So I live with a lot of regret. Like I said, not talking to her much, so all of that was just piling through my brain. Then also kind of scared, like this was my home. What would have I done? Anything? Could I have done anything? Would I have been in the same situation? I don't know. But it's scary. So I have a lot of trust issues with people.
You said you saw her room that time when you went in to get your clothes. Was there anything that stood out to you that you saw about her room?
That's just they told me, they're like, can you just look in here? Does anything look out of place where it shouldn't be? And I just remember seeing the mattress, and I think I just like blanked out. I couldn't look at anything else. I know her computer and everything was in the same spot that it's normally in. None of the furniture in the house was moved at all. So, but they're like, does anything look stolen? I'm like, I don't even know what was in here. Like we weren't in each other's rooms, so I don't know if anything was taken out of here or moved. Or I knew that her computer was in the one corner and her bed was over in this corner, and that was it.
So, but all the big things like the TVs and the appliances and stuff like that was all still there. So
Yeah.
It was not like somebody came in and robbed it.
No.
Okay. Do you remember about that apartment? There's only one door in and one door out, right? There's
Yeah.
no back door or anything like that.
No. Just the window in her room was like a longer, taller window.
Okay.
And we always had our windows open. It was hot. We didn't have AC. And her bedroom butted up against the laundry room.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that everybody used. So it was always hot because the dryer vents were always going. So it was always hot there. But she always had her window open. And I always had my window open, but I would close mine when they left usually.
Okay.
So, and mine was like a little, some apartments are so weird. My window was like tiny.
There's like
A little one.
that way, right?
Yeah. And
I remember it's been a while since I've been in those apartments, but I don't think much has changed there. So,
they're coming up.
what about the door? So you go in the door, and there's a deadbolt on the door.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and is that the only way to lock the door?
I think you could lock it with the key in the doorknob and the deadbolt.
And the deadbolt, were they two separate keys or the same key?
They were the same key, which I don't know, that's kind of weird to me. but
Okay.
Yeah, I think they were
I've seen
the same
doors
key.
like that before too.
Yeah, I think they were the same key.
Okay. And then was there like a screen door or storm door or something on it as well? Or
No.
Just the storm,
Just
just
the door.
that door.
Just the door.
Did that door have a window or anything in it, or was it just solid door?
Just solid door.
So you went through, you didn't see anything that looked out of place or odd, other than with that bathroom sink situation, whatever that was.
Yeah,
Some water or something?
it looked like water or brown stuff.
It was maybe blood.
I don't know.
And was it like the sink, like the plug was in the sink and there was water in the sink, or was there something else in the sink that had water?
I guess I didn't look super close. I just seen that there was stuff in the sink.
Okay. Got it.
Like, I had a hard time being in there, so I think, like, I don't know if I had, like, I felt like I had shutters
Mhm.
on my eyes, and it just, everything was so shocking, and I think I was still in, like, just like a daze, for like days, like 3, 4, 5 days probably. And even like her funeral, I think I was just still shocked. And I'm not really a crier. I don't cry super often. And my dad will tell you that. I'm not really. But people are like, well, how come you didn't cry at her funeral? I don't know if any of them know what it feels like to be in complete shock when you lose someone like that, and the situation, how you lose someone. But like I said, I was still in shock. I came here right after the funeral and talked to the detectives here. And I think this is gonna sound weird, but I've seen therapy for all this. I never cried in therapy. And now the last couple years, they're trying to teach me like coping mechanisms. And I think I'm finally being able to grieve. I feel like that was really stolen from me for a long time because so many people point fingers, you know, and I'm not that kind of person. It's hard for me because I feel like I've had no room to defend myself, but I don't have any reason to. So I stay pretty quiet. The page for her, I feel like I'm not even allowed to say anything, which is hard for me.
But in all reality, you weren't that close to Anita.
I mean, we were for a little while, and then we just kind of drifted. So,
In fact, you were planning on moving out at some point at the end of the
yeah,
year?
we thought about getting just, because with our different schedules and stuff, it was hard. Because she would come home sometimes and be really noisy, or I would, be there sleeping, and it's not fair to her to have to be quiet because I'm sleeping, so we had talked about, moving and going our separate directions with apartments, so.
When you say that people pointing fingers, do you mean people were pointing fingers at you?
I felt that way.
Okay.
I had really felt that way. Maybe they just don't know the whole story, which is, you watch TV shows all the time, and people think they know.
People said you called Anita.
Oh my gosh, and people can say that I would never do that. I honestly had nothing against her. We fought over alarm clock. We fought like just roommates, roommate stuff. I would never say that about her. The only thing I did tell her one time is she sometimes would leave guys on and then they would get upset. And I said, I just want you to be very careful because I don't want you to upset the wrong person. And it scares me because guys sometimes can get the wrong impression and I don't know. And she's like, it's fine. Everything's fine. So I had mentioned it the one time and that was it. I would never call her those names. I'm not that kind of person at all. So that's what hurts me the most about this whole thing is that people are making up stories about me. And that's hard. It's not fair. I never hurt anybody.
Why would people do that? Why would people make up stories about you?
I don't know. I don't know if people just were trying to put the pieces together themselves. I don't know. Anybody could try and do that, but I don't know.
Was anything missing from your room?
No.
Did you ever tell them the iPod was missing?
I think my iPod was missing, but then I ended up finding it in my car somewhere because I thought I had put it in my closet, in my sweatshirt pocket, but then I ended up finding it in my car. So.
Did you ever call the detectives and ask how the investigation was going over the years?
No, because they'd come and talk to me sometimes, at my apartment, or they'd call me, and I've talked to them every time. I didn't have anything else I felt like to give you guys. I just, as much as I would love to be able to give you guys more, like I said, I don't feel like I talked to her. I don't know who she was hanging out with. I don't know where she was Saturday. It makes no sense to me that she wasn't answering her phone Saturday.
So what do you think happened here?
There's so many theories that I've gone through in my brain that I don't know. I don't know if someone was keeping her Saturday or took her phone Saturday or if she lost her phone Saturday, because there's no reason she would never call her mom back ever. Ever. So I don't know.
What about work? Did she ever just not go to work?
No.
If she was supposed to work?
She would always go to work, or she would call work, and that's weird. So I don't know what could have possibly have been going on Saturday that she would have not had to answer.
Did she call in often? Like, she's just like, I don't feel like going today.
No.
You're calling.
No, she always went to work.
When I saw the domain was available, I was like, I'm taking it, I'm trademarking it, I'm going with it. Hi, I'm Aaron, I'm the owner.
So did you ever go back and move into that apartment again, or is that it? You were done, you left?
I didn't go back.
And where'd you go from there?
Stayed at my parents. And then I felt okay enough they moved me into an apartment in Belva.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard. I have a hard time being alone. So
you lived in Belva for a while? Were you still working at the telecare? Did you drive back and forth?
Yep.
Didn't you go to New Mexico or Arizona for a while?
Yep.
When was that?
moved away. Oh my gosh. I don't remember what year that was. Was it like 7 and 8, I think, maybe? 7-ish, 8, 07, 08-ish, somewhere around there.
Okay. How long were you there?
Not very long. I thought I would like it. Hated it.
What'd you go there for?
I met someone, so he lived down there. He was up here working, and then I moved down there with him thinking life would be different, warm, and my dad and I, like I said, my dad and I are now close, but we used to not be, like, for a long time. Probably since I was younger. We just butted heads a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just need to get away from my dad because he was a lot. And so I moved, and I hated it there. I realized I needed to be back at the farm. So
How long after this, what happened to Anita, did you move to New Mexico?
a couple of years, I think it
You
was.
think it was a couple of years later?
Yeah, I think so.
And then you came back from there, and then what? You came back to Minot, or?
No, I came back.
Came
I
back
was
to
in
Belleville.
Belleville.
So that weekend, you never came back into Minot at all?
No, I was always at the farm the whole time. I had no reason to come back to town.
Okay.
So
You never told your aunt you came back to Minot on Saturday to get clothes?
no, I did not come back to Minot.
So if she told us that, she would be a liar?
Well, I would assume she's confused because I never came back to Minot to get clothes. I packed the whole weekend. And Saturday I was gone all day. I went to Sykeston, and then I went to the bar, and then I went back to my parents' house. So I never had time to come back to Minot to get clothes.
And you didn't go watch a movie at house or house?
No, because I was with Alyssa at the bar.
And when you left the bar, separate way to her place, and you went to the farm. You guys separate?
Yep.
Okay.
Were you calling or texting somebody with any throughout the days?
Yeah, like for a couple of months.
Pretty heavy?
Yeah, we talked a lot. Mm-hmm.
And who was he to you?
We were kind of seeing each other, but he lived in like Michigan, so we were just talking to each other, just someone to talk to. I like with me working, I didn't have a lot of people to talk to. I was busy, and so it was easy to text people and talk to them, and I was just busy and trying to find my place in life, I guess.
You think this could have been an accident? The person that killed Anita? What do you think happened?
I don't know if it was someone she knew or was hanging out with at the time. Like I said, I talked about a lot. And there was a guy that she was hanging out. I don't know what his last name was, but he would come to the apartment when I wasn't there. Well, I wasn't there very often anyway.
Did
Do
you?
you,
Go ahead.
what do you know about how the specifics of how she died? Would you know what her injuries are?
They just told me that she had been stabbed.
Okay. Did they tell you how many times she was stabbed? Did they say where?
You know, they just said that she was stabbed to death, and it was multiple, but they didn't tell me how many times. They didn't tell me exactly where. That I feel like I didn't get told a whole lot. Just about this knife that they had found, and
Do you remember what they told you about the knife?
that it was just like a switchblade knife. That's all they really told me.
Did they tell you where they found it? Okay. Well, and you realize the reason they don't tell a lot of details like that is because it's an investigation, and we never know how that stuff gets out. We don't want. That's how rumors get started.
Yeah,
Right.
There's plenty of those.
So, did they tell you if they thought it was a knife that like you guys already had in the apartment, like one from the kitchen or something, or?
No. We didn't have a lot of knives. The only knives we really had in the house was like steak knives and stuff like that. So
What do you think should happen to the person that killed Anita?
I think they should rot for a long time.
You believe in second chances?
No. Not for stuff like this. This is when you take someone else's life, you don't just take their lives. You take everybody that means that they meant anything to. You take their lives too. They took my life. I haven't been the same person since.
Well, and we know there's at least one person that knows what happened to Anita and knows everything that happened. And what do you think about a person that could just keep that a secret all these years and never say anything?
I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how you can live every day knowing something like that. I think about her every day, So I don't know whoever would know what happened, how they could even live with themselves or live with knowing if they knew who had did it at the same time. It's the same thing. How do you live every day like that?
Do you know?
Why is filing your taxes with Free Tax USA different? Well, for starters, our premium federal tax returns are free for every.
Yeah, I do.
How do you know him?
We dated a few times, and then we quit dating for a while, and then we just dated again probably right before I met my husband.
If someone told us you were at a party and you said you killed Anita, would they be lying? Or would that be
They
true?
would definitely be lying. That would be a horrible thing for anybody to say.
Did you tell people you failed a polygraph on this test?
No. No. So I never failed a polygraph.
That's not true.
I didn't fail a polygraph. You guys, listen. This is what cracked my whole life. And I would never do anything to her. And I have cooperated with you guys to try and help do this. Like, I want the person found too. Because I want my life back. Like, I don't have to talk anymore. I do. Because I want this taken care of and I want it solved. And I want people to know that it wasn't me. Because it wasn't me.
Nicole, do you remember a guy named?
Yeah, he was my boss.
Yeah. And he told us that you were at work when the police called and asked you to come to the apartment.
I wasn't at work.
You weren't at lunch.
No, I was. I was with at lunch.
He went to you and told you that you need to go to your apartment. The police need you there. And do you remember what you said to him?
I don't remember saying anything to him.
Because he remembers, because he was taken aback by it.
I don't remember
told him
even
no.
talking to
You
him.
said, no, I'm not going there. It's just my roommate. She's a crackhead.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? All these people are saying these horrible things. Okay, I'm going to be done talking because I don't have anything else to say.
Okay. I mean, all these people have no reason to say horrible things about you.
I don't know why they are, you guys. I was not there. I would have never done anything like this to her.
I think it was an accident.
No,
Absolutely an accident.
it was not.
Look, there's a chain of interrelated behavior. It isn't just one thing. There's DNA, there's your statements, there's other things here. And here's the bottom line. These detectives have been working on this for years now.
I know.
And it's pointing to one person. You got to understand this. There's going to be mercy or there's going to be justice here for the person who did this.
There should be justice.
There should be mercy too, maybe, in some cases, like the detective said there, if this was an accident.
But it wasn't an accident. I didn't do anything.
Who told you about the screen on her window?
I don't remember who said anything about the screen.
So do you remember anything about the screen?
All I remember them saying is that they found a screen or the screen, something about the window screen. But like when I got there, everything was such a blur to me. If they would have said anything, I don't even remember. I don't remember a lot.
There's phone records, there's DNA,
I know, I gave mine.
there's animal hair.
Well, I have cats at the farm.
Right. How would your cat hair get on her?
I don't know. Does anybody else she was hanging out with have a cat? I was at the farm on the weekends. Like, I was never in her room. Like, you guys, do I need to get a lawyer?
It's up to you.
I've never had to get a lawyer. This is ridiculous.
There's just a lot of things, Nicole, that over the years, your story has changed so many times.
This has been 13 years ago. And
I know,
I
but
can't
even
remember
then-
13 years ago. I can't remember what
It
I had for
changed.
supper.
Even then, it changed.
Oh my God. I was
You
not
knew
in town when you guys.
Stuff about her window screen that nobody else knew.
No, I heard stuff about the window screen from other people.
You told your coworker that the window screen was
Donna?
cut, and why would you
Donna?
need to go into the screen if you had a
She
key?
went to a telecare.
You guys, I didn't say any of this stuff. There's so many stories
All
out
of these
there.
people are liars.
Okay. There are so many stories. I don't know anymore. Like, I feel so attacked. You guys. I want to get a lawyer.
We're not attacking.
I
We're
want
not
to
trying
get a
to
lawyer.
attack you.
I don't
Okay,
want to talk anymore.
that's fine. Then we're done.
I haven't done anything.
The trial held in March of 2025 put the entire case before a jury. The prosecution argued that Rice was a toxic roommate who had lied to police and confessed to the crime on multiple occasions. But the defense painted a very different picture. They argued it was a botched initial investigation and that these so-called confessions were unreliable. Stories that only surfaced after the case got media attention. And crucially, there was no direct forensic evidence tying Rice to the murder. After deliberating for just shy of 5.5 hours, the jury returned with a stunning verdict: not guilty. Nicole Rice, the woman police had pursued for years, was acquitted of all charges and walked free. For Anita Knutson's family, who had waited nearly 18 years for what they hoped would be justice, the verdict was a devastating blow. As Anita's sisters later wrote, a not guilty verdict does not mean innocence. Today, the locked room murder of Anita Knutson remains, in the eyes of the law, officially unsolved.